Welcome back to Cox Connections, a program that provides up-to-date information on events that affect you, our customers. The Tide, Virginia's first light rail system, opened for service in Norfolk in August of 2011 and currently extends 7.4 miles from Eastern Virginia Medical School to Newtown Road. Because of the light rail's success, city planners are entertaining the idea to bring a light rail stop to the hilltop area of Virginia Beach. And now a referendum on Virginia Beach light rail is on the November ballot. Aubrey Lane is the Hampton Roads representative of the Commonwealth Transportation Board and joins us to discuss the referendum as well as to explore the advantages of light rail. Aubrey, welcome to the show.
Thanks for being here.
Let's just go right to it. I mean, tell me about the specifics of the light rail referendum that Virginia Beach voters will see on November 6th.
Simply put, a yes vote would mean it would allow the City Council in Virginia Beach to explore the opportunity to expand light rail to that city. Hampton Roads Transit is currently doing a study sponsored by the federal transportation authorities about expanding light rail throughout Hampton Roads. Virginia Beach is one of those areas being studied. And so this vote yes would allow that referendum to pass and allow the city of Virginia Beach to make an informed decision. It is not, a vote yes is not to build light rail. That would be up to the city council members.
Why is there a need for light rail in Virginia Beach?
Well, we may all live in various cities throughout Hampton Roads, but every day we traverse the region in terms of going to work and our recreational activities. So any solution in transportation is going to require a regional approach. Light rail is here, it's up and running in Norfolk. It's been successful in exceeding its expectations. It's going to go to other places in Hampton Roads.
And when you say successful in Norfolk, beating expectations, I guess.
That's right. The ridership is almost double what was anticipated during that light rail study. So it's here to stay. Norfolk is looking at expanding it. Other localities in Hampton Roads have asked about it. Virginia Beach, as the most populous city, needs to make an informed decision on this.
So basically, I mean, light rail, you're seeing it clearly is not just about Virginia Beach. It involves Virginia Beach, but this is a regional issue. We do have a regional transportation challenge in Virginia Beach, and you're saying that light rail is a part of that solution.
Absolutely. You're probably understanding a little bit about our transportation challenges. Our residents
Well, we have several trucks on the road, as you can imagine.
As you know, the congested highways, the movement of goods and services, and how they're impeded by that. Light rail gives us another option. It allows us to get our driving public maybe off the roads and freeing up some for our trucks for the important use of our port. Our military has pointed out that that congestion on our highways is just not a quality of life issue. It actually impacts their readiness, and therefore light rail, they're supportive of that measure, helps us as another alternative in dealing with these challenges.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, I mean, if I live in Chesapeake and I'm listening to this directly or indirectly, this issue will impact me.
Certainly. Chesapeake is one of the areas that will eventually be studied in Hampton Roads for the expansion of light rail. But even if it just goes to Virginia Beach, the amount of traffic that we get off the road for people being able to travel without in their cars, as we know, most people travel by themselves in their vehicles, and that number has been actually decreasing. And therefore, having alternative means of transportation will benefit the entire region.
Let's assume that that the referendum passes.
Right.
How will this initiative, and if the City Council decides to move forward with it, how will it be funded?
Well, that's a good question because, as you know, the state overall is facing somewhat of a transportation funding crisis in terms of being able to raise money to build new roads or to maintain even the ones that we have. There currently is monies in the federal program and the state programs for the expansion of alternative means, light rail being one of those. For instance, in Norfolk, about 60% of the revenues to build light rail came from the federal government, a little over 20% from the state, and a little less than 20% from actually the city of Norfolk. So it is a joint effort between all the various political constituencies in getting this transportation built.
Talk a little bit about the environmental impact that we would see from such an initiative.
There is. I mean, the Sierra Club, the Lynn Haven River Now have all come out in support of light rail. Obviously, it would
And why
reduce
is that?
reduction of emissions. As you know, Hampton Roads is classified as a high emission urban area, and we have strict standards that we have to deal with, and that would help in that regard in terms of getting some of the trucks and some of the people off the roads in their cars by allowing alternative means.
Now, there are opponents.
There are.
There are people who say that it will be a waste. Why are they saying this?
Well, their biggest concern, I guess, is cost, but I would suggest three things. First of all, that every transportation asset that we have is subsidized. Every road we build, every bridge we build, everything we do is subsidized. Number two, there is a cost for doing nothing. There is a cost. I've mentioned about our military suggesting that they have an issue with the congested roads. But if you think about every time we heard what the cost would do, we wouldn't have the Gaston pipeline if we just said no because the cost was too high. We wouldn't have the amphitheater because the cost was too high. We wouldn't even have Centera, the new Virginia Beach Medical Center, because of opponents saying the land cost was too high, the city gave up. So there is a cost for not moving forward on these projects. But even if you look at the direct costs, Gary, we just spent $30 million in building an interchange in Virginia Beach. We're going to spend $109 million replacing the Lesnar Bridge. The city of Chesapeake is going to spend $478 million on a 4.7-mile road. That's $100 million a mile. So the question is not if we're going to spend money. We're going to have to. It's how we spend it.
How are you going to spend the money?
And light rail gives us an option and an alternative that may be more efficient.
We only have about a minute left. Clearly, you're believing that this also has an economic benefit in terms of job creation and economic development and those things that are going to be a positive impact on the community as well.
I do. As we all know, our cities around here are having difficulties balancing their budget. Without raising taxes, I believe that light rail will help expand our tax base. The city of Norfolk alone has reported over $640 million in additional development projects that have added to their tax rolls since the light rail has been developed. It has also been shown that every $100 million that's invested in light rail, 3,600 jobs are done. And if you look at it, every great city, and Virginia Beach is the largest city in the state, 450,000 residents, every great city either has alternative means of transportation or is looking at it, because that's where our young people are going, that's where the jobs are. And that's why we need to study that here in Virginia Beach.
Well, we're going to let that be the last word. Thanks, Aubrey, for being with us on that topic. And thank you for joining me on this episode of Cox Connections. Before you go, I want to personally thank you for choosing Cox Communications for your entertainment, information, and communication needs. We know you could have chosen another provider, but because you chose us, we pledge to be your friend that you can trust. We promise to provide you with quality products backed up by a talented local team of professionals that will help you stretch your dollar. From all of your friends and neighbors here at Cox, we thank you again for joining us on this edition of Cox Connections.